Should you be investing into Darwin in 2026? I mean, that is a question that a lot of investors are asking about whether or not Darwin is still the catch that it once was. And if you guys didn't know, Darwin is a capital city of Northern Territory, but it is more of a regional sized town of a larger regional hub, much like a Bendigo or an Albury-Wodonga, with about 100,000 people or so across Darwin and Palmerston City. And this location I've covered before, I think about 12 months ago, and I haven't really touched it since then because I personally just haven't been that interested in Darwin for a number of reasons. But we will get straight into that. And we can see that Darwin has its main capital city up here and then more of a satellite city called Palmerston City a bit further down. And Palmerston City was really where that value perspective was about 24 months ago, 18 to 24 months ago, where you could find properties for around $500,000. Since then, this location has exploded in value with the median buy price sitting around $700,000, and you can see the median yields around 4.3%. And when we start to scroll down a little bit, we can see that over the past 12 months, HTAG has recorded about 23.5% of growth, which is just incredible. Homes that were once worth $500K are now worth in the $700,000 range. And that begs the question, is now the time to continue investing into this location? And when we start to scroll down, you can still see that the overall stock levels of this market are incredibly low. There is just no stock apparent, and demand is still relatively high with properties being sold within 60 days. Now, you have to remember the data that I'm showing you at the moment is at the LGA level, so you might see higher and lower levels of demand across different suburbs, and I will show you some examples of them. But the key thing that I want you guys to take away is that if you look at the stock levels, it's so low. There's about 14 listings. There's only inventory for 0.15 months, which is just incredibly low. So that means any increase in demand, whether it's from investors or owner occupiers, it's still going to push up the demand further. And for those of you who don't know, Palmerston City, has its good and bad pockets. And I'm just going to show you some examples of suburbs. It's not going to be all the examples. You can do your own due diligence as well. But if we have a look at a suburb like Grey, we can see that the median buy price is around $600,000, and we can see that it's had 33% growth over the past 12 months. I mean, it's just incredible how much Darwin has exploded over this time period. And there's a number of reasons for that. And one of the main reasons is that it was being pushed by investors from a very affordable price point with a very high yield. Like you could get yields in Darwin around 7% if you bought really well, and you could be positively geared straight off the bat if you put about a 15 to 20% deposit, which made it incredibly lucrative for those people who couldn't buy or who missed out in the Queensland market. They went and jumped into the Darwin market. And this is quite reflective because when you look at the indicative yield, since about 2024, the end of 2024, you can see the yield has just completely plummeted from about 7% to about 5%. Now, 5% is better than most markets in Victoria, to be quite fair, but you can just see how much the yield has compressed because the price has exploded in that period of time. Now, if you look at another suburb similar to Grey, like Durack, for example, or Driver or Malden as well, you can have a look at the median buy price is around 600K. There's over 22% growth over the past 12 months, and the indicative yield has dropped about 18% from around 6.4% yield at the end of 2024 to about 5%. So really in Darwin, you're just expecting around 5% at this point in time. But once again, you look at the data behind it, the stock levels are incredibly low and the demand is quite high, with most properties selling within about 50 days or a month or so. Which means that if you do invest right now, you probably will still get further growth. But that doesn't mean it's still a smart investment in today's environment. And I'm going to touch on the reasons why. Now, one of the key concerns of Darwin in general is that it's always known to be a very transient city. There's a lot of workers who come and go in this location, and that is heavily reflected by the actual overall rented to owner occupier ratio. I mean, when you're looking at an LGA level and the rented to owner occupier ratio is almost 50%, that is telling us that there's a lot more renters in that location than there are owners in that location, which means more investors, more competition, more supply, and you get the gist of that. And you can actually see this more significant in some other locations compared to other ones. Like for example, in Darwin, in Annular, and I might butcher the name and I'm going to get roasted in the comments for it. I get it. But in Annular, for example, you can see the renter to owner occupier ratio is 27%. So much more healthy dynamics with the ERSAT score being 6. So a better suburb to consider from a fundamental perspective of ERSAT and socioeconomics. While as you look at Grey, for example, you can see the renter to owner occupier ratio is 50% and the ERSAT is 2. So there's a lot more renters in this location. And I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. If you came to me 12 months ago and you asked me whether or not I would have invested in Darwin, I would still say no, even though I've missed out on now 25% growth in that location. The renter to owner occupier ratio would have scared me away because I like to have a lot more owners in that location because that tells me it's a more desirable suburb where people actually want to live and not just come to actually work. And so that was one of the main reasons why I never actually considered Darwin as a realistic investment location for me, especially when it comes to Palmerston City, the satellite location down here. And you don't only have to look at H-tag, by the way. You can go on to SQM Research, which is a completely free resource, and you can have a look at the significant price growth that it's had since about the end of 2024 all the way up to 2026, where the past 12-month change is 13% for all houses and about 26% for 3-bedroom houses. And you can see that the 10-year change is well below the median average. Now, that's also, some people would say that's a positive and some people say that's a negative. Some people will say because there has been no growth over the past 10 years, that this will continue to grow and grow and grow. While as some people will say, well, there has been no growth over the past 10 years, why would you invest in this location? Both are actually somewhat right. If you compare this to the Queensland market, it had a decade of literally no growth and has been exploding since then, since about 2022 onwards. And it's still continuing to grow. But the underlying dynamics of that location had changed. And that change is a little bit apparent with the whole government change about 12 months ago. There has been more infrastructure investment and projects in this location. And you can go have a read about this in this website here. There's a bunch of projects you can go have a read. There's also a $15 billion Australian hydrogen project, which will supply about 1,000 full-time jobs and more in this location. And then you also have the whole defense arm in Darwin, which continues to get pumped by the federal government with more and more investment into that location. And so there's still a lot of infrastructure projects happening in this location, a lot of change afoot, but it still hasn't brought owner occupiers into this area to actually live there. And it's still got a lot of renters and being known as a transient location to live in. And that's why it makes me a little bit scared about whether or not we'll have another downturn after a lot of this investor demand cools off, like back in 2014 when prices dropped once again. Now, do I see prices dropping from $700,000 to $500K? Not really, but we could go through extended periods of stagnation or a slight deviation in price drop as well. But I do want to make this point just a little bit more clear for you guys about where you should be spending your money. And I'm literally a nobody on the internet and you can listen to anyone you want to. But just before I go into that point, if you haven't already, jump into the private community, guys. This is going to be one of your last chances to get into the community before the prices significantly increase. This is a community where we have over 280 members helping each other out on a daily basis, picking the right locations to invest into, picking the right suburbs to think about and to invest into based on your own personal strategy. That is the important thing. We don't really need to give you every suburb for every single brief. If you have a strategy, if you have a brief, if you have a certain risk appetite, then I can tailor my recommendations to what you need. I can help you analyze different suburbs and different locations so you can make informed decisions about where you're actually putting your hard-earned money. And remember, guys, it takes you years to save up that first deposit and it takes years for you to generate that equity. You don't want to be throwing away that money on a poor decision, on a poor asset given by poor advice. Get the help you need, and not just from me, from other community members as well who've had great success in this field, and you'll get the help from the likes of them. So if you need any help at all, jump into the community one of the last times before the prices start jacking up and get in while you can. Now let's get back into the video. Now, one of the positives of Darwin that I want to talk about is actually the overall vacancy trend of this location. Now, if you have a little bit of a squiz on the internet on realestate.com, you can actually see there are very little amount of listings available for the market. And this is also reflected on the vacancy rate where we're just sitting at 0.6%. So it has very, very tight vacancies, which means that there is little rental competition despite a lot of investor demand in that location that was already there and incoming as well. Now, when you look at the weekly rental increases, you can see that the rolling quarter change is still about negative, which isn't a positive sign, but the 12-month change is still around 7 to 9% for houses in that location. So we'll have to see whether or not we can actually see further rental pressure. But because the vacancy rate is so low, I still expect you to be able to increase the rental amount in that location. And so that is something to be aware of. Now, I want to show you an example property and further add to my point about whether or not, spending $700,000, $650,000 is the best in Darwin at this point in time. Now, if you go and you start to look at available properties online, you're going to need to be spending about $650,000 to secure a 3x1 asset in this location. Now, this one was sold on the 17th of December 2025. There's just been very little listings online to show you. But this one example here is a sort of older weatherboard house, but it still has a very, very decent, nice, and clean interior. It looks quite good overall, looks perfectly rentable. It's got a pool. I don't really invest into properties with pools. However, Darwin, you have a lot of properties and they all have pools basically. So that is something to be aware of. And it's a nice, decent asset. But this one sold for $650,000. You look at the history of this property and you start to scroll down and you can see this property was actually sold in 2023 for $420,000. In the space of about 18 to 24 months, this property has gone up about $200,000, which is just incredible, by the way, which is a lot of money. And you can say it's outperformed a bunch of different locations. I mean, it's just incredible how much it has grown. But if you were to buy this same asset today, does that make sense for you? Because you go on the map, right, and you take $650,000, you might have to pay maybe $700K to secure the asset today. And you ask yourself, where else in Australia can I spend that $700,000? I could spend that in Albury-Wodonga, which is a much larger regional hub. I could spend that in Townsville. I could spend that in Bundaberg in Queensland. I could spend that in Dubbo. And you wouldn't even need to spend $700K. You could spend $650, $600 even. There's also locations in Geelong, which have just much better economic fundamentals. It might not have the yield like Darwin, but it just has better fundamentals. This is where I stand with Darwin. It's like, for the amount of money I need to spend to get into that market, I could spend it into another market which has much better fundamentals, much better growth potential over the long term, and has less downside risk, which for me as a long-term investor is one of the most important things I look for. More than sporadic rapid growth, I look for long-term fundamentals where I can put my feet up at night, close my eyes, and just sleep. And I don't think you'll get that in Darwin, especially if you invest into today's market at today's price point, where it is just incredibly high. When you do a little bit of further due diligence, right, this one is located in 35 Essington Avenue, and you look at where this property is. This is in grey, and this is where the property is located, and it's surrounded by lots of public housing. It just doesn't really make sense for me at this point to really consider that property, right? Now, when you put the numbers into the property, $650,000, about $30K stamp duty or so, I was being a bit slack with the rental per week. So if I put that up to $650, maybe $700, you're getting about a 5% to, 5.5% yield. So very good on the yield front. And if you put a 20% deposit, you're really not losing that much money at all per year, but that's on a generous rental estimate. So from a yield perspective, it's still a go. And from a growth perspective, in the short term, you probably will get some growth. But from a long-term hold perspective, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I wouldn't really say this is probably the best place to consider. Especially for the same price point, you could consider so many other locations that have better economic fundamentals and have still better long-term growth potential. That's where I would look to put my money. And look, that's me on my personal analysis, on my personal opinion. And you have to do your own due diligence and see if it actually fits your risk appetite, especially if you want to consider Darwin today at today's market. The people who got in at $500,000, they've made a lot of money. And I don't see prices ever collapsing back to $500K below replacement value, right? But the people who get in at $700K, you got to understand whether or not you're making the best decision for you with that amount of money. And so I hope this video has helped you guys understand why or why not I would consider Darwin. And if you need help about picking the right type of locations like this, thinking about the fundamentals, the analysis behind it, then jump into the private community, because it's not going to be $35 a month for much longer. It's going up, costs are going up, and I still want to provide very good service to the community at an affordable price point. So get the help you need and jump into the community today. Till next time, thank you very much.